Hey, hey, hey! How is everyone doing? Hey, I kind of managed to get the green screen working. Now I'm at least somewhat transparent, which was intended because the other day I was covering some code. But yeah, here we are. Oh, and also the chat is above me. That's not great. Let me move that. Let's put this here on top. There we go. So, how's everyone doing? Today we're going to be taking a look at Showtime, which is a social network for NFTs or crypto art, depending how much blockchain lingo you know. So my original plan for this stream was basically to try to rebuild this UI in Tailwind, but it turns out it is already Tailwind. Like, they have like a few inline styles here and there, but it is mostly Tailwind. So instead of that, I thought, since it's already Tailwind, which means it's really easy to go in and change stuff, let's try to give it a different look. Let's try to give it a new look. I don't know what we'll be doing. At first I will just try to like tweak things according to my design style. If we end up with something interesting, we'll maybe try to keep going that way. If it turns out we don't do anything interesting, maybe we'll try to make dark mode or something like that. I don't know. It's kind of like a free form. I just want to have fun with Showtime. So let's play some chill tunes so that we have something on the background. Let's see what I have in here. Do you prefer like something like lo-fi, or actually let me move this here. Do you want something like lo-fi, or do you want classical music, or I have everything. And also, this is probably not going to be stored afterwards, so like, I don't care about copyright. So, lo-fi. Let's see what I have in here. I have way too many playlists. I had, let's see. Oh, you can search in here. Let's maybe start with some. Do they have any playlists in here? Let's start with some like chill vaporwave and retrowave, and then we'll maybe switch to lo-fi. I think the volume for that should be fine. Let me know. Let me know. Also, can I request a song with Streamlabs? You can. I just haven't figured out how to enable that yet. Maybe for future streams would be interesting. But yeah, also Alex, which is the creator of Showtime, hello Alex, is here. And I kind of promised him that I would tell you like a quick tip to make the Showtime website faster. So let's get that out of the way first. So what I've done is I have a Showtime clone next.js app, which is basically I just went on Showtime, did inspect element, HTML, copy, and then I pasted it in here, and I refactored it a little bit so that I have like an NFT component and stuff, and I can update things here and all the NFT cards will update. So we are going to be working on this, and also I have my Tailwind config here so I can change stuff up if I need to. It's not perfect. I try to get some of their custom styles but I didn't end up getting all of them. So there are some things that are a little bit clunky. Like you can see here, the search bar is weird, but it's pretty much. And also the tabs navigation here, it's a little bit messed up, but you can see like it's kind of similar, and it should be enough so that we can get to work in it. So yeah. First of all, for the tip, you want to get like some ultra speed on Next.js with like zero work. You can install Preact, which is like it's kind of another React that was made from scratch using modern JavaScript, but it uses the same APIs, so it's interchangeable kind of. And then you can go into your next config. You can also enable Webpack 5 for extra speed using this future flag. But you can in here, actually let me I can copy that code from the mirror client I'm making. So here you can basically specify a Webpack function, and you can just say if you are not running on development and you are not running on the server. And this is important because Next.js uses server-side rendering React, and this doesn't work as well with the server. So if this isn't development and this isn't the server, we can resolve React and React DOM to Preact compat, which is like a special build of Preact that ensures that all the APIs are the same as React, so you can just switch between the two. And since Preact is a little bit faster, this should bring a pretty big speed improvement to the app. So here's a free tip for everyone: 2 ways of making Next.js faster. I mean, you should also make sure you are updated to the last version of Next, which is like 10.1, because they also worked on speed in there. But aside from that, Webpack 5 and also switching to Preact on production are some really great ways of getting started with some performance. Let me make sure my microphone doesn't slip off when I release. So yeah, let's save this. It shouldn't really make any changes because we are not running this on production, we are running on development. Yeah, let's get started. So first of all, I say I really like the approach they went from in here. Like, a pretty common design psychology thing tip is basically that rounded borders are like more playful, and like more squares and less rounded things are like more serious. That's like the main make the design fit the feel of this side tip, and they really went all rounded. I will probably increase the border radius on these cards a little more. Yeah, I also really like this font, and yeah, and also the Showtime font is really good, and they have some really good touches here and there. Like when you have notifications, it opens up. It has like purple dot in there, and yeah. Loading it's fast. Could be made faster, but it's fast. Think search is real time. It's almost real time. They have navigation bars. This loads faster than all of the other things. I think the following counts update on the client before sending it to the server, which is another easy way of making the site feel fast in general. And yeah, so now that I've finished shilling Showtime, let's just pop in and do some random stuff. So first of all, the reason why this is like on 2 columns and on the site is like 4, I think. Yeah, is because they are doing this calculation automatically. I mean, with JavaScript instead of using CSS. So you can see here this width and min height. If I switch to the border one, it changes. And I obviously, that didn't get propagated with when I copied all the styles. So the first thing I'm going to do is to basically make sure that that is switched to CSS so that we can have a preview that we can work with. And if I'm correct, this should be on the Spotlight component, which is here. As you can see, I refactored everything so that it's using the NFT component. And here we have like two inline styles. So we can just switch this to Tailwind, because why not? And also I'm using the new Tailwind JIT, which should make everything extra fast on development. That's another pro tip. And also here is like, I think this can be switched to Tailwind as well. Let's see, 20 pixels by 16. Yeah, this should be I think should be 6. Yeah, that looks similar. And finally, if I get rid of this, it will probably go full width, which is not what we want really. So this should be 4 columns, and this we're going to say maybe max width 2XL and center it. I think there's another element positioned. Yeah, so that gives us enough space to work with things. And then the issue is that this grid isn't respecting, it has a setup width. So if I get rid of this, there are still some spacing issues. I think I should be able to say gap x4. I think the NFT component might be absolutely positioned or something. Let's see. So that should respect the width automatically. I guess the easy fix for that is to just switch to third column rows, and that kind of fixes our problem and gives us enough space to work with. I think we maybe can go up to 4. No. That works. That's a little. I think the Showtime original site has more space and a smaller gap, but that should work as well. Maybe we can add some padding on the sides, like 6 to bring it closer together, and then reduce the gap a little bit. We can work with this for now, I think. So someone did the posture check thing. Thank you. Actually, I'm just noticing, like looking at the preview of the stream here to my side, the transparency on the camera may look a little weird under white. So let me know if that's something that bothers you, and I can just use my background. Yeah, I mean, it could be worse. Like, this is much worse. But also, yeah, I never end up getting the best. I think that's better. Yeah, that's better. So, congrats on dropping out colleagues. Thank you. Yeah, I just think I can spend my time better in other places. Can maybe talk about that a little more if you want. So yeah, let's start with the NFT cards. I'm just going to make zoom on one of these. Maybe we can see it in context. So yeah, NFT. So they have this Showtime card custom style. Which sets the border color and the transition and stuff, which could be done with Tailwind. But yeah. So we are going to be rounding stuff a little more. I like to have like pretty big rounded corners. And I would even try to go with like, yeah, this looks a little weird, but it's like generally good practice to try to match the border radius towards the this side. Yeah, I think this might be, it could work if you made some tweaks to the card, but I think we're going to live with EDXL right now. Another thing that I tend to prefer is you can see they're using shadows for hover and borders in general. I tend to prefer using like shadows in general. So I think this should let me... Yeah, you can see it looks a little cleaner. Maybe even bumped up the shadow. Something like this. It doesn't really work right now, but I think we can make a few changes to make it work. One thing that I would maybe play with is making the background a slight version of gray, and that way the navigation pops up more, and also you can clearly see the differentiation with the cards. And this might be something we go back to later, but I think it doesn't look that bad, and it helps all the elements pop a little more. So let's go back to that. Another interesting thing you can do is there's a border on the header here. You can play with using a shadow in there, or even, if I remember correctly, for overlaid, which was a social network I tried to build during the last summer, which is also open source and an XJS app. If I remember correctly, we had like a nicer shadow. Let's see if I can find it. It's on the top navigation. We have this biggie crystal look and a shadow header. And if I check my Tailwind config, let's see. It has like this special shadow. So I think I'm going to try and see how it looks. So let's see. Shadow header. And it's like a more slight shadow that it's mostly on the background, which I really like. There are a few things in here that we may go back to later. Another interesting thing was the biggie crystal, which I can try to add as well. So it gives a kind of an iOS look to it. It's mostly, it works better if this is like a fixed thing and it moves with it. Because then if the background isn't white, as you can see here it is, you can see kind of through it, and then you can do something like this. And you can see there's like a slight appearance to that behind it. So that's a nice yeah, frosted glass effect like Apple really does, and it's nice. I don't know if this bar makes sense as a pin bar, but let's try that for now. Let's make sure this goes full width as well. Yeah, and I'm also going to get rid of all this search thing, because I didn't really get it working, and so it just looks weird. So let's comment that out for now. There we go. And I think the navigation is more full width. Like, yeah, there's this spacing done by the search bar here, and here is like more cramped. So let's try to put this in here and this to the other side. And actually I'm going to get rid of this. This is just a test project, and I don't think we'll end up implementing something like this. So this is a flex component. We can justify between, and this should already... We don't need C indexing here, I don't think. We can do C10. Yeah, there you go. And then this has max width set with JavaScript as well, so we can get rid of that, and that should already bring us to something similar to what we want. I think we want to add a little bit of padding on the sides, so that it's not that in there, maybe even 20, something like that. Trying to make it roughly match with the cards, so it looks a little bit more aligned. I think that's good, yeah. And then I'm going to make this go to this side, because this... I mean, the navigation might even look nice on the center, but this needs to be in there. So the issue here is basically this is 3 divs, and the best way to make this work is to just wrap it on a div and make that div a flex container. There we go. So yeah, I really like that effect. I think this makes it look nicer. Yeah, let's keep going. So we refactored this to use shadows, which means that it doesn't really make sense to use shadows as well on hover, especially not with this weird transition setting that they have set by default. So let's go back to the custom and to the Showtime card, I think it's called. Yeah, they have this transition for the box shadow, which we are going to get rid of. So now there's no transition. And so what we can do is set a transition here and say straight with like the default transition. And I think that looks nicer. There's like sometimes it breaks a little bit when... Oh, by the way, Alex, if you're still here, like you have a lot of media and most of it are videos, so you could probably, another performance tip would probably be to like use an intersection observer, I think it's called, which is a native JavaScript API, to check if the videos are in the viewport, and if they aren't, you can post them. And so the browser isn't wasting resources playing videos that the user isn't seeing. That's another nice pro tip. So yeah, we have cards here. Think before anything else, we're going to take care of the icons. These are font awesome, I believe, and they are even loaded. Let's see, there are some that are SVGs, and then there are some that are images. So for something like this, I like to use heroicons. And so let's try to replace that. So let's use outline icons. I'm going to copy the JSX of this and search the here, the like. And this set to 22 by 22, which in tailwind scale is 1.3, which is roughly 5. So let's set this to 5 and 5. And I think that looks a little bit nicer. And the other great thing about this is that if all the icons are from the same set, it has some cohesion that looks really nice. So let's now look for a comment. I think this icon, the chat icon, looks nice. What I may do, I think, is open up Sketch and redo this icon. So, and now I'm realizing, like, before we do that, we can just yarn here icons react, and so we don't need to copy the things, which is also nice. So we can just in here say import here icon from here icons react outline. And we just need to specify the class name, which is also really great for performance because they do some stuff under the scenes to optimize the rendering and loading of stuff, and you can see it looks the same. And so what I think I'm going to do is, you see this ellipsis in the middle, I'm going to get the chat icon, from here, and let's make that a component. And it's already optimized so that you can see it's in one path. So we still need to update it then, because we want to get rid of the dots in the middle, because I think it would look nicer that way. So we can just let's see, let's find the chat icon. I assume these are alphabetically ordered, or maybe they aren't. There's one up here, but this is more of a discussion thing, more than comments. I think this is supposed to be like annotation. This might work as well if the other one doesn't turn out as I expect it to do. I'm pretty bad at like finding stuff in general, so I just go through it and let me know if let me know if you see it. Yeah. Pretty sure I might have skipped it. Can I just like search?
I was busy dreaming, building us a world, daydreaming up a good life that wouldn't hurt and wouldn't spoil. The sun never set there, the water clean and pure. In the beauty there was purpose, so certain, safe and sure. I could live this life forever, but from far, far away. I thought I heard you calling, you said I could not stay. And I woke up in a fever, my calculations were wrong. The pillars could not hold us, and the angels are gone. When hope makes you bleed, when life gets you down, there's all the love you need.
I'm looking for chat. I'm looking for this one. But I can't seem to find it. And it's probably like right probably right in front of me, but I can't seem to find it. Like, this also happens with apps on my phone all the time. On the left, there's this one, which isn't like the same one. This is like the alternative version. But I can't seem to find the other one. Oh, here it is. Yeah, of course. So what I'm going to do here is get this icon and just like oops. Get rid of these three and then center this up again. Oops. I lost the center. Let's see. Thing I can probably say there we go. And then I can just copy as SVG and optimize it. And then just paste this in here. We want it to have this stroke. There we go. And now we can get rid of this function. And we have our chat icon. And I can just use this here, chat icon. And it should probably be the same class, b5h5. And there we go. Here's our icon. Then we need a share one. I think we're going to use this one. There's also like an upload that matches this one better, but I think share is like more recognized for what we want to do. So we can just do share icon, and then we just say 5 with 5. So something like this. We might have to bump up the dimensions of this one so that it's visually similar. Something like that. And also just make sure that these are aligned. The tooltip is hidden because I didn't have time to implement that. So let's get rid of that. So we have those three. I'm going to bump down the color. So I can say text gray 600, and that might be too much. For now, that actually works. Because like the icon is not as important as the company number. And this number we're going to make text gray 700, so that there's only a slight variation. And there we go. So another nice thing I learned, by the way, some of these tips come from the excellent Refactoring UI book, which offers like a lot of practical tips on how to improve on design. I think they have a few free chapters that you should definitely check out. And yeah, I really recommend it. It's a little bit expensive, but I've learned a lot about design from this book. So you should definitely check it out. And one of the things I learned is that when there's a clear differentiation, you don't need borders most of the times. So we're going to try to get rid of that border, and you can see the card kind of still works. Which is nice. So yeah. A few changes I would maybe make. I mean, there are some usability changes, of course, like hovering this should pop up a user card, I think. Kind of how GitHub does it. Like if you are on literally any place of GitHub and you hover here, you hover over a user, you see like some information and maybe the option to follow it. I think that would be nice, so I can follow users instantly. I think I'm going to put this. I mean, I would ideally try to move the owned information in here. So let's see an example where things like here, for example, you can see the owner and the creator aren't the same. I think there should be a way to differentiate between creator and owner. Maybe we can do that with icons. So, I mean, I think when the creator and the owner... First, let's move this bit up here, I think. And let's replace that icon as well. So, external link. Let's see, where's the color? External link icon. And we are going to... This is 14. Which should be Y3, I think. Maybe 4. Something like that. And then let's get this link. And move it to the top next to the creator. Here, and then we can make this justify between, something like that. And if the owner and the creator are the same, you should probably get rid of the owner, I think, because that's a little bit redundant. You just need that information when it isn't the same. So let's see. Here, let's see if creator name equals owner name, if it's different actually, then we show this. And this is going to create an issue, which is then some cards are longer than the others. So the solution for that, I think, is to move the owner up in here as well. And the best way to do that is with some kind of link or some kind of icon that links the creator to the owner. So for this, I would ideally design a custom icon, but let's see if there's something that we can use here. Maybe hand if there isn't anything better. A lightning bolt could also be like an abstract representation as that would serve as a placeholder. You could also have like an icon for the creator and an icon for the collector, but I think that that might take up too much space and clutter the thing up. Actually, what we can do is let's see. There's this component which is like a stack of avatars. You can see here. So what you could maybe do is, let's see, where's the creator here? So you have the creator URL here, and then you have another for the owner IMG URL, and you can get rid of this too. And of course, since we love accessibility, we are going to be having the creator name and the owner name. And then we can get rid of this. Something like this. Which looks nice when there are two creators. If there is only one, we can say if creator name is different from owner name, then we show this. Something like that. Think that looks nice. And then we maybe think we're going to use link for now, because that's the best one I can think of that represents the abstract. Again, I would probably design some kind of custom icon for this, but this is not like an icon design stream. So let's get a link icon, something like this. And then we're just going to say owner name and have here link icon. Something like this, and then instead of having like a margin left, we can just wrap all of these up in a flex container and say space x2 maybe, and we should move this to the top. Something like that, maybe 1.5 is better. And then only show the link and the other one if the creator name and the other name aren't the same. Something like this. So you can see the normal card only has the owner, and then when there's two, the owner and the collector, you have here the owner and here the collector, and you would have to update the links, but I think this looks pretty nice. I would also like design a custom icon for this, as I said, but there's no time for that now. Maybe that's a little bit too prominent. Let's deprioritize that a little bit, and then we can get rid of the owned by foundation thing here. And that looks a little bit nicer. Since this is like a grid, we could also make them have the same height, which I think might be interesting. I don't know if Showtime does that. They somehow do. Not exactly sure how. Maybe some like JavaScript. Let's try to do that with CSS. So let's go to Tailwind CSS and look at the grid docs. So let's see, grid same height on items. Stack Overflow to the rescue, as always. Oh, actually this may be a lot easier than I'm thinking. Oh, and also, this doesn't look nice. So let's go to the spotlight and make sure that it switches back to maybe 2 columns. When the screen isn't big enough, I would ideally make 3, but there's really not enough space for 3 with this approach that we took to padding. So I will have to refactor that, and I don't have time right now. So you can see it goes to 4 columns, and then when it has less space, just 2. So that we can still look at it. But yeah, the issue is that some are bigger than others, and the row should be the same width as always. See, here's like we have some padding on the row. This is something you would want on the card, not on the row. So let's switch that up. Something like that, and then we can say, let's see. And also probably this should be taking care of the grid level. So let's get rid of this. And let's do 8 full. I don't know if Showtime card is playing with some of these styles. Oh, we can just remove that? Okay. Let's get rid of our set width and try to make that with max width. Something like this looks nice. So I don't even think we need like a container for this card. And just have the card itself. Oh, they have like a flex grow container here, which takes care of the spacing. This isn't ideal, to be honest. Still here. Hey Alex, what do you think of the thing so far? You like it more or less than the current design? So then we can say gap Y4 maybe, and that should give us a nice gap which scales with the grid. And maybe we increase that to 6. Something like that looks nice to me. We'll maybe try to make the gap 6 on all axes. And I don't know how... It's like you can see the card already has some extra gap. Like there's some spacing in there. And I don't know exactly what's deriving that. Oh, the max width, yeah. I think we should be able to get rid of that. And the cards are going to grow a lot. Especially these two for some reason. So, oh, because of the title, yeah. So make sure this is this has an overflow, which it already does, and can only extend as far as its full width. There we go. And now the spacing is controlled by the grid, and that way we may have some funkiness when we switch to full width cards, as you can see here. But this should also allow us to have 3 cards or even 4 on smaller screens without that weird spacing. Like you can see, they are all now fully responsive. I think we're going to switch to like 1, and then maybe on mobile we can do 1, something like that. And as you scale up, maybe actually we want to like go to 2 pretty fast. So you have like on mobile 1, and as you grow you have 2, and then it goes to 3, and then finally 4. I think that looks the best, and now they are fully responsive without any JavaScript, which is really nice. There are some issues when the name is pretty long on smaller screens. Like you can see here, it splits it between 2 lines, and then it looks weird, and there's also like some spacing in here issues. So let's fix that up real quick. So in here, yeah, we want to say we can tell it to avoid wrapping. That's the class I was looking for. This was the old name. So now it doesn't really wrap. And we should copy this to the other one. But now there's this issue. So we can tell it to split into an ellipsis, and then we tell it this should be flex. I know exactly what the property is. There's like a way of telling flex width to shrink, yeah. Flex shrink, and then here flex shrink 0. And you can see, yeah, now it respects that, but it overlaps the bit. So what we can do is we need flex wrong here. For we say this should go only full width up to there, and this shouldn't really be position relative, because why would you need that? Then we have flex ring for the whole thing. Hey, how's it going? Welcome. You can see your chats up there, by the way. I don't know if the opacity is enough so that you can notice, so that you can know what I'm responding and stuff. But yeah, I think we can get rid of this class as well. It has some extra things. Okay, think we need this in here. So I'm pretty sure the issue is in here. Flex item centers justify between W full, and then we have a shrink and a no shrink. I think this needs like an overflow. There we go. It cuts in there, and then maybe we want some padding in there. So maybe a little bit of spacing in there. Something like that, and then let's make sure these are both split. It's like the issue here is there's not enough width for all of those, and the images will never be made small, but this part will. So this needs an overflow hidden. I know exactly what the class is for that. Let's see. Overflow ellipses. There's overflow clip and overflow ellipses. This is what we are using there. And we want to use truncate actually. There we go, and you can see there are like now both names show up, because it wouldn't be really fair to show only one of them, but they are all have an ellipsis in there, so that yeah, so that it fits. I think that looks really nice. There's like an issue where this is cut off here for some reason. So let's try to fix that up. That's on the spotlight component. Here we are using overflow hidden. I don't think we really need it though. And then this is using overflow auto. Again, I don't think we need that. And there we go, our shadows are back. I don't think we need to set the height either. Yeah, there we go. I think this looks a little bit better, more clean. Maybe there's this issue where like some of them have this more to the top and more to the bottom, so let's try to stick this to the bottom row. So let's see, and also we probably need some space on the bottom before this button, like that. That feels better. This is how it was before, by the way. Something like that. And also I didn't end up, we can switch the components for this later. So yeah, let's try to stick these things to the bottom. Always. So let's see. This is 3 divs. You know what the obsession with the pointer elements is in here? Especially since they aren't really using relative for anything. But yeah. And this is literally BU white, which you can just set on the image, I'm pretty sure. And this might also be like pure CSS. I mean, computer on the fly. Let's see what happens if we get rid of that. Yeah. So we want to use aspect ratios for this. So what we can do is to have the container be relative and have like a padding background of 50%, and then these are absolute and object cover, and that brings us back to something that is a little bit more full width. We do need to get rid of this though. And then all the name and stuff is split. Think what happens if we use contain? Maybe it's not all like. Think it might be a be contain. No, it's object cover. I think you have to set the height to full as well. Yeah, there we go. And now is this going to take up a 50% of the card? We can set that up like maybe 70. And that brings us more space. Even 90, I think this is what, or maybe 100%. Yeah, I think this is how it was before, but now it's CSS driven, which I think is cooler. Back to this though. Are you using Git? Yeah, this is what it enables me to use custom values without adding it to the scale. I was using like add Tailwind CSS Git, but the new Tailwind CSS version actually allows you to just say mode Git on the config, and that's it. That's all the changes you need to make. I mean, you also need to configure the purge, but yeah. So let's move this to here. To do that, need to see how this is. There are like a few extra divs here that we don't really need. You can get rid of this, whoops. Let's see, there are a few tips in here. We can get rid of this, we can get rid of this, we can get rid of this, and we can get rid of this. And the results will be the same, but now everything is less cluttered. So this is not full width, as you can see. There's some extra space in here. So let's make the card a flex container, maybe. Let's see, flex column. And that shouldn't really make any changes, but then we can go back to this here and say flex 1. Should make sure this takes up the rest of the space, as we can see here. And then we can make this a flex container as well with flex column. This again should not have any changes, but then we can say justify between, and it should position stuff. We still want these two to be together, so we can wrap them on a div. And so these two are at the top, and then this one will always be stuck in the bottom, which makes them aligned, and that looks nice, I think. Why not flex 1 the middle div? That would work as well, I guess. But this is like how I would intuitively do it. So yeah, there are plenty of ways to do it. This is just like the one I would go with. We also have this user spotlight thing, which is like kind of stuck in the middle. So we should probably that's on hero, I think. Let's get rid of the set width in there and give it the same treatment. And actually we can probably move this And there we go. Now this is kind of aligned with the cards. I think there's like an issue where there's a little bit more padding than needed. Yeah, you can see here there's like some XY padding and also bottom padding, which shouldn't be set in here, I think. Something like that, and then we can just say MY. Yeah, there we go. Or maybe PT 6. Yeah, that looks nice. Was just wondering what your perspective is versus mine. Yeah, I intuitively, like, the way I learned Flexbox is just I made everything Flexbox containers, and then if I wanted things to stick together, I just grab them on a div. It's just the way I do things. So yeah, I'm still learning as everyone, but like that's the way I learned to do stuff. So something that Nicolo said a while ago, I don't know if he's still here, is that it would be nice if cards moved up a little bit when you hover over them. Like the shadow now it's not enough, like you can see it down below here. But if you are on the top where there's not that much of a shadow, because the light is on the top, of course, you can't really see the shadow effect. And since the whole card doesn't really have a link, which is something that we can add, it looks like you are not doing anything. So the way to do that maybe is to let's go to back to the card. We can use transform and translate. See, let me look at the documentation for this. We can do translate Y4 maybe, and it goes down, so maybe minus something like that, and then we can make that only happen on hover. So you can see it comes up. Maybe that's a little bit too much. Let's make it 2 like this, and then we can remove the shadow hover because I don't think that really makes sense anymore. Maybe even 1.5, and with that we can maybe even 0.5, like it needs to be like a slight thing, something like that. Yeah, and then we can do the transition at the end. Maybe increase the duration and the ease in out, so it feels more. Maybe this looks nice, I think. Like now the whole card moves up and down, and the shadow is consistent. So I really like. I also really like the use of emojis in here. So it gives it like a playful look. I do want to share at the end a screenshot of like everything like before and after. So we're going to have to make sure this is set in here and it's lined up with that. And we are going to do that without using hard-coded JavaScript like the original, which is also nice. So that's on the hero, I think. Yeah. And so we're going to get rid of this. That's going to put it in there, and so we can just copy this and something like that. I think that looks really nice, and then we need obviously some I think this looks nice. I'm not going to touch these buttons for now. I don't think it would make more sense if it was the same color as every other link. Like you can see, all these links are like this indigo purple like thing that I really like, and this one is like more of a purple thing. So I think consistency it's probably important. It's probably important here, and also in this button as well. You also like the treatment. Like this is more like desaturated, so it's transparent, and then when you hover it, it becomes purple, and this is like the opposite. Let's now take some time to switch the trending section. Maybe we can get rid of this, but I want this to be using the same NFT component. And by the way, the data here is derived from like a spotlight JSON. So you can see that like the spotlight now is different, and I can refresh that just by reloading this page in the spotlight endpoint, which is this one. And I just copy this, go in here, just so to make sure it looks nice with different data. And if I refresh here, actually I don't even need to refresh, you can see we have new icons. And I think this also looks nice, this layout also looks nice with these other ones. So yeah, that's nice. Let's take care of the trending now. So let's see how Showtime gets. I assume it's like /trending. No. Featured. Okay. So let's get some featured data. So featured.json. I'm going to get rid of, actually save. And I want to force retokenize, so this is tokenized. I want to think what I did for here was basically, oh yeah, there we go. That's as well, so I can get rid of the data. And also as well here. There's a lot of data, which is why this isn't showing up. But yeah, now we just go to trending. And I'm going to import trending data from add/data/trending.json. Going to remove this, and this is like the part that is actually, this is the NFT component, as you can see. And I don't know how many of these there are on the current site. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like a few. It's most of the page. So I'm just going to like get rid of all of those and just loop through the data we pulled and render the NFT component with that data. How many? Yeah, a lot. This might take a while. Actually, something that I didn't really realize I could do. I'm just realizing now that I can, since there are a lot, I can just go to the bottom. And if I guess what this thing is, since this one, I can just select everything. Go back to the first one and get rid of them. I think this should compile. Maybe there's like trending.json doesn't exist. So let's see, data featured. I mean, yeah, featured. So yeah, now we just say trending data map from NFT, and we render the NFT component. And if I didn't mess up anything. Okay, so there are some tokens which have no description, which is something I hadn't accounted for. So let's do this. And we have our spotlights now. And then we have all the trendings. And we're going to have to do the same things we did before for all these infinite scroll things. So let's more or less copy what I had. So the component itself had these things. Something like that. We're going to forget these tabs exist, at least for now. And then we need this, and we can remove this here and this here. And there we go. There we go. So we have our user spotlights, and then we have trending, which just loads and loads and loads endlessly. And then finally there's this explore collection things. The filter is kind of bland, so, and also this button, I don't know, feels out of place with the rest of it. I don't even have that in mind. But yeah, so we have a shit ton of things, and then at the end there's this footer. So what I think I'm going to do is to first of all copy the style from these tabs, because these are set on as like inline styles, so there I couldn't really grab that. Like you can see there's this grid tabs container thing. So let's try to rebuild that on Tailwind. So this is width full and padding, let's see. There's a padding right, which we have already accounted for, and then a padding bottom that we have also already accounted for. Then there's this trending thing, which actually we can probably copy the style from the spotlight hero, at least this part. Yeah. And then this is the thing that we need to take care of. This is flex, unit flex row, a border on the bottom that I will probably replace with a shadow or something. And then the cards have some text stuff. It's already accounted here. And then some padding. padding Y, let's go with 2 for now. Margin left we will account for. Border B3 and then border no, if this color is added into tailwind, let's go with indigo 400 and we can switch it up later. Then they have a transition and a color. There we go. So is this? Oh, and also we need to do a space X for. Something like this. Why is this border not rendering though? Border bottom 3. Oh yeah, we need to go with 4 maybe. Or 2. That feels enough. And this should be take account into which one is active and stuff. Like let's just assume the first one is, because the data we pulled is for the first one. So in this two we should maybe text 600 so you can tell it's disabled. It's not currently selected. And they really like bold styles and everything is bold. So it's probably something that should be taken care of, but I'm not going to mess up with their custom styles now. And doesn't really need to be a span. Yeah, now I need to get their custom color. This is probably somewhere in the custom styles. I know, how is this thing called? Link something. I think it's this one. Let's say. So yeah, let's say instead of indigo 400, let's say Showtime. And there is not the color. There we go. And then here text Showtime. Something like that. I think this might be. Something more like this. That feels good enough. So the link for this is broken apparently. Yeah, there's just no link. Is that like an issue for me? Let's try to find that in the data and see if the link somehow is specified with another property or something like that. So this is basically on the trending, and it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's Rebels. No, it's Vigilante. Here it is. So we need the. Oh, so if token has video, this should be the this should go to a token animation URL. Okay. So let's add that in real quick. So I hadn't accounted for video NFTs. So we need token has video and token animation URL. And thank you for the follow, Santos Canal. How's everything going? So in here, we should take token has video. And if true, we do a video, and if no, we do an image. So a video we can just do, let's see what Showtime does. Probably use player or something like that. See, here it is, the Vigilante one. And this uses the token animation URL link. Like this. And preload, autoplay. We don't need the quotes in here. Controls, loop, place in line. So also needs to have the same things in here. Something like that. Let's see if that works. Yeah. Now videos. And this needs a autoplay. I think may have some issues. Yeah. In React is with a MySQL. And this is probably, this needs to be muted. So that 5 things don't start playing at once. And let's hide the controls. Yeah, so if I give this a reload, will take some time to load because it needs to fetch everything, but it starts playing everything. So, how are you? I'm doing great. I'm trying to make a redesign of this platform called Showtime. So here's like the original, here's what we're working with. And this is what I'm going with. This is like, I played with these colors, and I mean with the shadows and the cards. And now I'm making this trending section look nice. So I think that's this is nice enough for now. There are some issues where when the avatar doesn't load. And let's see if this is like an issue I've made or an issue for them. We check in here. They don't have an image. Apparently, this is on the let's see. This is on the Rebels one. Let's search for that. So owner EMG URL is null. So let's handle that. Maybe we'll do creator EMG URL, or if that's null, we can just use avatar.chobby.sage, which will generate a random avatar. So we're going to say here Showtime, and then we put the creator name in here. So if there is no image, we will render. That might not be picked up at first. There we go. We rendered this random gradient avatar for anyone who doesn't have an avatar on Showtime. You can see it here and here. I think this is similar to what Showtime does. I think they might have their own avatar system. Let's see. Yeah, oh, they use OpenSea's random thing. Really like these gradient things, because like they can use the OpenSea one, but yeah, it's like a nice placeholder. And so now let's focus on the footer, which in my opinion isn't really great right now. Like it's pretty bootstrap generic thing. So let's close all and go to the footer. Let's use some colors that work better together. Maybe also spread this out a little bit. So I would maybe put this, put it all in one line. Let's do that first. There's a lot of unused divs in here. So here is the mail. Here's this all these social links. And then here's the terms and conditions and the copyright. So the copyright is going to be on top. Like that. And let's make this a flex container. Something like this. Let's add the same padding that we've added to everything else, so that it's aligned, and we can maybe do that here. Something like this. These icons aren't that great, and here icons doesn't have Twitter and stuff, but it does have an email one, and we're going to use this one. So let's import mail icon from hero icons React Solid. And this is 20 by 20. It should be W5. Maybe we can even go to 6. There you go, and that looks a lot more slick. What else? Then Twitter, I don't think we have a hero icon for that. We can maybe use let's see, feather icons for this. So they have this really nice Twitter outline. They don't have solid ones though, which might be an issue. because as we said, Heroicons doesn't have like Discord or Instagram or stuff. So maybe what we can do is work with the ones that we have already. Make sure that they are all the same width. We don't need any of this. This is handled by the browser.
There's traffic on the bridge, but the skyline shines with a certain light. And I know you're sick of it, but I know we're happy hour nearby. And there's a possibility that one day things will get better for the huddled masses in between the shadows and the stars. Floating empire held up by frame wire. Higher cover you in winter like a blanket.
Something like that.
When the rent's too high, we'll just buy cheaper wine and hang on to see if weather constellations hold together or not.
And we don't need to have extra padding on the icons
4 years in Brooklyn.
on the sides.
Happy birthday, darling.
We can use a space X4 here,
I'd like to take you dancing.
maybe even 3. We're going to chill a little bit and add
Things will get better for the huddled masses in between the shadows and the sun.
some margin in here.
And there's a possibility we both go down together.
So that they are visually aligned. Maybe 0.5 is better. Yeah, there we go. These color transitions are nice, but I think they are a little bit too sudden. So let's make sure we have a transition set up on all those things. That feels a lot more natural. Then also, like, this is more of a nitpick than anything, but I like to have the date be automatically generated so that you don't have to update that if you forget about it. And this we can use the Unicode representation so that all browsers render it correctly. Yeah, so I still think this footer could be like improved and give it a little bit more of pop, but for now I think this is nice. We're going to refactor this a little bit so that this part gets abstracted into a hero component, like I did on the Spotlight one. We don't need this. Yeah, and then also I think I also abstracted away show more button. So let's do that in here as well. And actually we can probably use the same one. Like if I set this show more button to have a title. And export it. Can probably reuse it. And then let's give this some space in there. Just like that. This looks pretty nice, I think. We have fixed the card so that the collector and the author are shown at the top aside from the link icon to reuse some space. Switched up the icons and give it some nicer hover effects and shadows. I forgot to define the title in the spotlight, I think. Yeah. What is the original one in there? Explore user spotlights. There we go. We recreated this with Tailwind. We gave this glossy effect to the navigation bar so that the user can access their notifications and stuff at any point. Let's see what other nice things we could do. Oh, and I think we can probably now get rid of most of the custom styles, because we aren't really using them. But we'll take care of that later. Let's maybe try to recreate this search bar. So let's copy the code for when it's extended, and this is one of the other components where they really made use of inline style, which is what I didn't originally copy. Let's try to recreate that in Tailwind. So here's the Showtime one, and then here's the Explorer. This should go in the middle. And the input needs some... Yeah, so this broke the page because of the style. Should probably can fix this automatically. Not a big deal. See, where's the inline styles this is complaining about? Here it is. So again, this style isn't really that great. Let's pull in the Tailwind Forms plugin. And make sure this has a type of search. Which should give it some styles. We have these two icons in here, because this one is for mobile. We're just going to get rid of it for now. And then actually, instead of recreating the main one, let's try to make it from scratch maybe. So there are a few extra divs, as always. Here's the one that we need to worry about. Let's make this relative. And then let's make this let's import our search icon and use the outline version. Put that on there. Have this be fully rounded. It's going to need a margin like that. Maybe have it be a little bit smaller. Something like that. Then this has like a strong border, like that. We don't need this container, I don't think. Let's give this full flex. Something like that. And then maybe let's see, this has this margin, some margin on the right, which we do need. Or is there space between these two? Alright, because this Showtime header links. These are not using. Let's see. Where do this? Am I editing the mobile? Yeah, get rid of that as well. Here it is. Something like that, and then we can say space x6. Something like that. Let's make some space in there. Maybe a little more even. And let's say right top 3, right 4, oops, left actually. And then our outline. I'm lagging a little bit, it seems. Still having the default outline. We're going to want to do something like this. Or maybe
The top shelf tumbles and the wall clocks run the well. Scotch bottles and the soda guns. You missed the last train.
let's
From
see.
the city tonight, old friends see each other in a different light. You missed the last
There we go. Think we might be able to even transition between those. That's nice. And then we get this X button in here that is added automatically by the browser. Also, Safari will also do some extra optimizations in there. Another cool thing we can do is there's an icon that pops up in here when someone follows you and stuff. I don't know if that's in the HTML when no one follows you. Yeah, it isn't. So let's try to recreate that, but make it doper with shadows. For that, I did have a branch of my website that I didn't end up using with some dope things. So in the index, there's this let's see. Here it is. This is the thing. You're going to see that in a second. Let's find that bell. Let's actually switch that up to Hero Icons bell. Oops, we don't want the solid one, we want the outline. This is going to be 20 by 20. Something like that. And then I think this is actually the bell icon. Yeah, there we go. So this is like a little bit plain. It's nice, but it's plain. It's like a pure circle. We can improve that a lot with some shadows. So if I give it these shadows, it's not going to be the exact same color. We can work on that later. But look at that shadow. This is probably one of the best things that I've ever designed, and I didn't end up using it, so let's put it in here for no reason. Like it's like a 3D dot shape. I really like it. That's basically done with like radial gradient as background to have like this top spot where there's more light, and then have it be darker on the other side, and then we have a few box shadows. But yeah, and normally it's more of let's see if I can bring that back. So yeah, then we have all these things. This should probably have a background that is transparent so that it shows the things underneath, because it looks a little bit weird when you scroll like that. So let's fix that up. And the border also looks a little bit weird, being gray when you scroll through it. So maybe we can make that either stronger so that you can see it. That doesn't look as well though. Let's see how light we can see it. We can make it so that it doesn't really look bad. So we have decided that one doesn't work. I think that may be enough. Yeah, that works for me. So yeah, I think there might be a little bit too much space in here, but other than that, everything looks really nice. Let's see. Think that looks a lot better. Yeah, and then finally, think I'm going to still have like an hour left, so let's try to add dark mode, because why not? So we're going to enable Tailwind dark mode, and let's go to the layout. And make stuff dark. Starting with the background. I really like this kind of not really black look, but maybe let's go for black. And then try to see how we can make stuff look nice. So first off, the header. We need a different shadow for the header. So I had on overlight, I had a different header shadow for the header on dark mode. So let's use that. You can see it has like some things in here. You'll see it better when the content is actually displayed. So Showtime is going to be white. Like that. And this might look weird for a while until we get everything right. Then we get these Showtime header links, which are originally black as well. But in here, let's try to make it not pure white as the logo, to make them. It's like a very slight difference that you can slightly notice, but it helps with differentiating. Yeah. Let's make this border a little bit more prominent. And bring that bell back. Maybe that's a little bit too prominent. That feels nicer. The cool thing about this thing is it works both on light and dark mode. This is the notifications, which I'm not implementing, so we can get rid of that. And in here, let's apply the same border. Something like that. And in general, I would also maybe, yeah, the text also changes color. So let's say dark hover text Showtime. And this should be group hover, because this is the group. Like that. Okay, so this looks decent. Let's go now to the hero. It should be pretty easy. This is pure dark. So let's make that white. Maybe a little bit grayish. And I will probably make this a little bit more gray than the rest. Something like that. Then for the spotlight section, on the hero, we can have this text. Text gray 200. Something like that, and this tooltip, which we forgot to change that to the actual hero icons. So let's do that now. I really like this eye treatment. And let's maybe center that. Give it some space. Something like that. Let's go with these cards now. It's going to be like the biggest part of this, I think. So these rings are now the correct color. Let's see. Why is no name showing up in here? Oh, because there are sometimes the one has no name, right? Let's find an example and see what property they're using then. So here there's Vigilante. When I close this, and let's look at the save data. Yes, so here we have Matt Scott. And then the owner is also Matt Scott, right? But when it isn't, it has the name. Oh, right, yeah, okay. So where's the link showing up when... So things can have no owner apparently. This is something we hadn't accounted for. So if creator name is different than owner name, if owner name exists also, there we go. That's fixed. So maybe let's deprioritize the speed icon a little bit. Something like that. There's nothing we need to do on the title. Should be really prominent. And then the description. Maybe make it shine a little more. And now for these icons. Make the icon pop a little bit more. On both of these. Something like that. Then this border we need to account for as well. that. This button as well, so that it's on spotlight. So why is this hover not being respected here? This is hovered. Oh, do we need to specify that hover? Yeah. There we go. And then the footer at the end. Maybe what we can do here is something like this. That should work. I do want to make an experiment, which is what happens let's set this to gray and then the NFTs to black. I don't think that looks better. No, I will go back to the other. It's nicer. So this is of course something that still needs to be worked on, and it's a first approach, but it's nice to have like a dark mode thing in here. I think let's go back to the light mode version. And also, since we are not using shadows for hover anymore, this everything still works. So yeah, light mode is here. And now let's have like a dark mode toggle in here. So I should be able to reuse the code of this thing. To do that. So there we have our button. Let's put it here. Let's have like really simple dark mode switch. Something like that. Of course, we need to make this button look cool in dark mode too. Something like that. And let's go and say switch that to a moon to a sun. Maybe I should probably invert that. So you see a moon on light mode, and then when you click, you see a sun on dark mode. feels nice. Something that I want to do is to play with the grays. So right now we're using the default Tailwind gray. There are a few other grays, like this one is more, it's less blue. This might look better for dark mode actually. And there are a few other ones. Have blue gray, cool gray maybe. And warm gray. I think I might go with this one, which is less bluish. That or true gray. I think gray looks better. This might also need a transition actually. That's nicer. Let's also add that to the bell. Something like that. And this focus effect might not be prominent enough on dark mode, so let's fix that up. A little bit better, but I think we can go a little bit more lighter. Yeah, I think this looks nice. So we have a light mode and we have dark mode. And the switch here could be improved. And I actually think, because like you have all the transitions kicking up on, well, you change colors, so some elements go darker faster than others. To fix that up, we can add headless UI in here. Or actually not headless UI. We would need... Hey, thank you for the follow, Lotman. How's everything going? Let's see if I can find the headless UI repo. There we go. So packages, React. What's this dependency called? That their transition component uses. Oh, they are no longer using the transition component that I thought they were. Here it is, React Transition Group. Yeah, this is only for like enter and exit, so I'm not exactly sure if there's a way of doing what I want to do. Guess we could do it with like a watch. Basically what I want to do is to go to the custom styles and say disable transitions and everything under this transition non-important, and then I guess we can use effect and run this every time is dark mode updates. So then we need a reference to this class, to this element, and what we want to do is first of all, let's log is dark mode. So if we refresh here, we are going to get false at first. That's on load, so we don't need to do anything there. Maybe we can do it anyway. So what I want to do is theme control dot current dot class list dot add, and our class was called disable transitions, and let's set a timeout to remove this class after 300 seconds have passed. So, and we'll fix this up later. So what this should do is when I click dark mode, you can see everything, like there's a slight Maybe we can even do this easier. We just say change theme, and we first disable transitions, then we set dark mode to the opposite, and then we add them after 300 milliseconds. Let's try that again. Why is this not working? Is the class getting applied? Don't think it is. Is it throwing any errors? No. I think it's because it re-renders. Yeah. So maybe what we can do is set something like this. We don't need this ref anymore, and there we go. Now all the classes change automatically. Maybe better than that is we can do all 0.2 seconds. Important. So they have a transition, but they all have the same transition. How did you define transitions? Let's see. An issue here, semicolon expected. Probably because of the important here. Yeah, there we go. So the three things that we want to take care of. Oh, and also box shadow. So let's call this theme transition. It's probably better. This isn't really as smooth as I would like it to be, because of all the things that the browser needs to take care of from the page. But it's decent enough. And then everything goes back to their own transition afterwards. I like this effect on light mode. And it's not exactly there on dark mode, which isn't ideal. I don't know if there's a way of having that happen on dark mode. See how I did on in here. So I had BG crystal, and then on dark had this image, which I don't really remember what it was. Oh yeah, I had a gradient in there. Should we try this? Let's try that out actually. So we're going to copy this and add it to the custom styles right here at the bottom. And yeah, then we need our image. We're going to use this gradient for now, but we can probably use a different one. Like that. And then we just need to say on the header dark BG. And hopefully is it working? Let's see. So minus set minus 1 does not. That seems to be a custom class that I define. See if we can find that. Let's see, set index, here it is. So in dark mode, it should kick in, but it really hasn't. There we go. And now what made this cool, if I remember correctly, can't really see through that anymore. So if we go and see the... Okay, so I just need to do dark. Like that. There we go. That's it. We got it. And last thing now is I want to store the user's preference through load. So you can see, like, if I set dark mode and then reload the page, it's going to go back to light mode. And for that I have a hook. I think it's on my snippets part, on the snippets category of my website actually. Let's see, React. It's not, so let's grab it from my website, I guess. So hooks, sticky. There you go. So let's call it hooks. It's basically like use state, but it stores the preference on local storage. So we're going to go to your layout and have this be use sticky state. And so now, let's give this a refresh. This starts on light mode. If I set it to dark mode, it goes to dark mode, and then if I give it a reload, it's back to dark mode. Like that. And so finally, the last thing that we need to do is to make sure we start with this theme transition thing always, and then after 300 milliseconds we switch it back. That way, even if we load in with light mode, we are not going to have the transition issue anyways. You can see it instantly switches. And there are things that we can do on the backend to optimize that so that it loads automatically on dark mode, but that's outside the scope of this. So the final thing is we're going to fix some links, and then we're going to deploy this to Burstel so I can share it on Twitter. So on the NFT part, you can see, for example, this always links to Magus art, and we need that to link to Showtime / creator name, I guess. Is there like a creator username thing that I have missed? Yeah, that's the creator username. Let's use that in here. This OpenSea URL for the bid will also need to get replaced. We can use I guess contract address and token ID. Yep. So let's get and this referral goes to Showtime. Then this can be left as is. Likes won't really work, so yeah. So for example, if I click this link for the dreams within dying, it breaks. Nice. Yeah, I don't know. How does Showtime do it? Okay, so I guess it only works with some of them. Yeah, that one works, yeah. I don't know. All these links should go to Showtime. Like that. Since this already goes to my username, I guess I can make this, link this to the high-res version of my profile pic. Like that. And then we can make this link to my Twitter. Also fix up the links on the footer. So you go to Showtime. This don't work. I don't know if there's anything else we need to take care of. No, I think that's pretty much it. Let's give this a deploy and see if it works. So I'm going to create a GitHub repo for this. Let's call it Showtime Home Redesign and make it public. Let's push that up and deploy in Vercel. So new project. Let's import the Showtime Home Redesign to my personal account. Everything can be left as is. And now we just wait. Should be deployed pretty fast since it's just one site. I guess we also need to make sure everything looks nice on mobile, which we haven't yet. So the navigation doesn't. But everything else should. This looks nice. Same issue for the trending. And the footers should already look nice. There we go. Finally, for the header, we can just hide all these search things. And that looks nice. So it's responsive now. This should have finished deploying. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to keep this a subdomain. Showtime mikelpf.me. Going to have to set that redirect on Cloudflare. So give me a second to do that. Let's see. Let's create a record called Showtime, pointing to the to versus CNAME. And there we go. Now this should pass. There we go. We can redirect this to the other one. It's a permanent redirect. And then finally we need to add the mobile changes we just added. And also we are going to add some SEO things. Like right now this page doesn't even have a title. So you can see. So on the layout, we are going to use the head component provided by Next. Set a title, and we can just copy that should work. And now we can just copy everything from the official Try Showtime site. So yeah, title Showtime Crypto Art. And then we need meta description and all these different things. And this is the thumbnail we're going to use. I think I want to edit this a little bit though, so that it is clear that this is not the official one. So let's first of all get my guy up here. And we are going to rotate this one and put it in here. And then we can get an overlay. Actually, we can use the gradient we didn't end up using. This one. We can add this in here, center it. Like that. This goes on top. Then this is going to have a multiply opacity, or actually I think it's hue, no, luminosity, color. I think it's probably multiply, something like that, and then some text. I don't know what font Showtime uses, but I want this one. So let's see how that font is called. Afronaut. Is that a free font? It is not. Guess I can just download it from them to do this one thing. Let's convert that to something that we can use.
There's an open road, now an open door, and a pretty girl's hand beside yours. Do you know what to do? She looks at you. Can you leap from the ledge and bridge the two halves of the world? Hold her hand. We'll never pass this way again. Hold her hand. Forever of a slow dance. Her breath as deep as you make it. There's a chance if you take it, and a heart that you'll break. It's still a heart. Hold her hand. Hold her hand.
Something like this, maybe.
There's an open
We can maybe
pretty girl.
have this text be converted to outlines and set the color as an image and have the image be the gradient. Like that.
We'll never pass this way again. Hold her hand. Forever of a slow dance. Her breath as deep as you make it. Chance if you take it, and a heart that you'll break. It's still a heart. Hold her hand.
Then we do a background blur. And we decrease the opacity of this. Nah. Maybe I can use like my own gradient for this. That looks a bit nicer.
Hold her hand. We'll never pass this way again. Hold her hand. Forever of a slow dance. Her breath as deep as you make it. There's a chance if you
I think that's good enough.
that you'll break. It's still a heart. Hold her hand.
Let's export this. It's a JPEG. Yeah, and now we can get rid of this PG because we didn't end up using it. And here we can say showtime.miguelpf.me / images / og.jpg. This looks nice, yeah. And then we can just push that up and wait for it to deploy, and then we're done. This is set to the main branch. and it approximately takes like 30 seconds to deploy. This means it's ultra fast. Yep, there we go. And now we can just open the URL. It's going to have an issue with my cache, probably. Yeah, so I have to clear my DNS. Let's check Tor. This is what I usually do when I don't want to wait for my... So it takes time to load because it's Tor, but it should work. And if we go to metatags.io and give it our URL, it should load our image. Maybe not. Let's try that again. And there we go. Doesn't look that great, but it's decent for like 3 hours. Let's tweet it out. So let's see. Forgot to check if the card is picked up by Twitter. Yeah, it is. So let's say I redesigned the Try Showtime homepage. How do I make this
Two beating hearts together, stitch the seams and pull the levers, strange desires, sparks and wires. I sign the dotted line, tethered yours to mine, no anesthetic, heart's electric.
think this looks nice. feel like that's better. Let's go to it. There we go. So that's going to be it for today, I think. Does this work on the bottom? It does, okay. Yeah, that's going to be it for today, I think. We had a lot of fun. At least I did. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, or if you have any suggestions for things that I should try out next, you can message me on Twitter. I'm at MiguelPF, same username as Twitch. And yeah, you can also follow me on Twitch and on Twitter to get notified when I do more of these things. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Bye.